of St.Catherine. This is the first night of Lot, and lot has to do with fate. We say sometimes that's your lot. Now, lot can be positive, uplifting, lot can be negative. That's all there is for you. And 2,300, 2,500 years ago, people were already wondering how would the new year going to turn out? How would it be? And could they do something about it? How would their lot turn out? And even before Christian times in Celtic and also Germanic and ancient Slavic regions, people figured out a way to divine, to see, to prognosticate what would happen in the following year. And they did so in a very fascinating way. Winter solstice was their true north, was the axis. And they looked at the days before winter solstice, about 26 days, starting on November 24th, and going all the way till December 20th. And then with December 21st and winter solstice, the holy nights would start, and they would last till 6th of January. Before I go on, my name is Aditya Novotny. I have been a meditation teacher on 5 continents for over 40 years and an aromatherapy teacher for the last 16 years. I'm combining these spiritual insights and my historical research with the practice of aromatherapy, essential oils, and as part of it, I'm presenting this very, very little known chapter of human story and human history to you. And it could become a part of your history as well, as you will see in all that is going to follow. It's already night. We are in the middle of the first night of Lot, or also Oracle night. I just came in from being outside and doing the ritual of the Nights of Lot or Oracle Night. And the principal ritual for this is, before I'm going to tell you about essential oils and which 2 essential oils are the perfect oils for the first night, St. Catherine. Before I tell you who is St. Catherine and why should we care, I would like to tell you the principal ritual, and that is to go out during the night of Lot, that is from 24th to 25th, the first night of Lot, but there are 6 of them. Second night of Lot is from 29th to November 30th, November 29th to 30th. And then we have 3rd to 4th, 5th to 6th, and 12th to 13th of December, the night of St. Lucia, where all is light. And finally, 20th to 21st of December, leading straight into winter solstice. Now, what do you do? As you see, there are themes connected with each holy night that has been, of course, appropriated by Christianity, but the tradition existed before. It was simply called the silent time. In Christianity, it was renamed into Advent time. And they put on these 6 special nights where the veil to the inner world is so thin that you can really grasp what is going to happen in the future, in the coming year. So they put the name of Christian saints on top of these original Celtic, Germanic, ancient Slavic days that people of old obeyed and used to predict and prognosticate their new year. So this is huge. You go out into the forest all the way till you hit the T crossing. And there you stop and you just watch meditatively and you listen. You're just really listening. It's all silence, or there's a kind of sound like ocean roaring far away. And you might be frightened, but you don't have to be because most people won't be in the forest during the night, especially in November and December nights. You would rather have to be worried if you go into a public park in one of the big cities. There, I don't advise it, but otherwise, if you're living out in the countryside, or if you can jump in the car and have a forest nearby, go there, go all the way to a T crossing, stay there, and for 15 to 30 minutes, just concentrate on the sound of silence. Concentrates on the sights that might be there, even if it's dark. Your visuals will change. Your optic perception will change. You might see something that you have not expected. But it's not only acoustic that you might hear messages, it's not only optical that you might see certain things, but it's also empathic, it's intuitive. You might receive some meaning pointing you to where to go to in the coming year. And after all, we are not living in a easy time. We are living in a big time of change, a big time of transformation. This time actually will continue till approximately 2032. So we are like in a 7-year final period. You know, this new age was predicted already in 1980, and even before that. 1988 was the first real activator, then 2000, and then 2012, which was announced like the big thing. Little did we know that it would last till 2020, when some old big circles or influences would raise their head and would keep humanity busy with a changing agenda, basically 5 agendas that I don't speak about because this is about the Knights of Lot, but just to give you context. But now from 2025 till 2032, we are like in these final 7 years before the Aquarian age starts, also according to ancient Vedic astrology, which is much more profound and much older than any other form of astrology. So we are in for a treat, but we are in for the biggest transformation of our lives. And this is why the Knights of Lot, these oracle knights, can play such an important role, because many people don't know where to go, what's going on, who should you trust, what should you trust. And it's hard for people to get a glimpse of reality, to get a glimpse of truth. Now, here it is, this chance with the Knights of Lot, and a very simple, very basic, very natural way, a fundamental way. You go out in nature in the night, in the silence, and you just listen, and you just watch, and you just feel. And each night of Lot, maybe you will manage to go out at least once for one night of Lot to do this ritual in the forest, in a T crossing. Maybe some people, they do it 6 times, all 6 nights of Lot, and they are really the lucky ones because they are so blessed and so laden with information, even inner information, like in seed form, that they have very rich and fulfilling holy nights. That's again the period between December 21st and January 6th. And then, of course, they can manifest in the holy nights and start to script their scripts and projects for the year. And the year basically really starts like January 7th till January 15th, at least in the Christian countries that I know, because there's still a lot of festivities all the way till January 6th. And only after that is over, beginning January 7th, the new year really starts to settle in and you start to get into a normal routine, so to speak. Now, many people don't observe why is this time of Christmas and New Year and all the way till 6th of January, St. Stephen's Day, so special. Not only St. Stephen's Day, by the way, it's also the night of the three wise men or the three magi from the east, the three wise men, 6th of January. Why is this time so different? And why is it like we're coming out of it and finally we are back in the normal year, starting January 7th? Well, because it's a portal. It's a portal that opens, and it does not just open at winter solstice till January 6th. It opens before that. It opens already on November 24th to 25th, that first night of Lot. And this is like the preparation in the inner world or causal world or world of ideas, as Plato and Socrates called it. Socrates and Plato said that anything that exists first is an idea that comes down and becomes manifested. Basically, they were speaking about creation, but what many people don't know how to go beyond that veil of the here and now, the time space continuum, the material universe, into the world of ideas. How can I connect? And this is something where the Knights of Lot come in, and where seers and priests, priestesses, you can imagine them like medicine men, European medicine men that lived 2,300, 2,500 years ago. Celts, Germans, Germanic tribes, that is, as well as ancient Slavs. And they were obeying, especially these 6 knights, and they all have a particular meaning. And let us look at the meaning because that's also very important. The first night is about just going within, going inwards, reflecting, and finding strength within. That's the first night. It's called, by the way, also the silent time or Advent time. The second holy night, 29th to 30th, is going into even deeper into your heart, into love and connection. And with love is meant all love or universal love or divine love, and the connection that it brings to you when you step into that all love, into that divine love. To which, to who, to what does that love connect you? And if you go through it, I give it for free as a live stream on various social media platforms. Just tune in again and watch all 6 of them. If you go through the process, you will be one of the happiest persons because suddenly you know so much more. It's like seeing a reality that you haven't seen before, but that finally makes sense. Why before winter solstice, these 26 days? Why after winter solstice, these about 16 days plus minus? But it's usually about 26 and 16. And that's quite a chunk of time out of the whole year. But in truth, now we are slowly entering into Christmas feeling. Come end of November, then, as I said, Christianity appropriated these ancient traditions, Celtic, Germanic, Slavic, and put the Advent ritual on top of it, where you are lighting 4 Sundays before Christmas the first candle, 3 Sundays before Christmas the second candle, 2 Sundays before Christmas the third candle, and 1 week, one Sunday before Christmas, the fourth candle. That's Advent, Christian. And it's, of course, much less dramatic and much less profound than going out into basically nowhere, into a T crossing in a forest and listening. What comes from the left to the right? Now, what does that mean? What comes from the left to the right? Basically, you feel during these 15 minutes, 30 minutes, each of the 6 holy nights, you feel time flowing by you. So you're like on the observer road, and the T crossing, this road is like the main road, which gives you an insight into the flow of time. And some people really experience this. It's like a river. It's like an energy flow. It's like a flow of meaning that comes from the left, goes to the right. Some hear something, some see something, some feel something. And when you are done, don't turn around and go back to your car or bicycle or however you came to the forest, but you're stepping back 30 steps backwards without turning around. You could say out of respect, you could say out of humility, but the truth is you're still connected to that flow and you don't want to break that connection with that flow of time that you were gazing into for 15 to 30 minutes too soon. You are basically walking back. And then when you're 30 steps backward, then you can turn around and go back your way. I know this sounds dramatic and probably you're not inclined to do it. However, I challenge you to do it if geographically possible at all for you. Now, if you live in a big city, then you're lucky enough you have an open window or a balcony, and then you can just look into the starry skies during the night of November 24th to 25th, then the night of 29th to 30th, and so on, 3rd to 4th, 5th to 6th, 12th to 13th, and 20th to 21st of December. Now, what is also important, you're focusing on the theme. Now, here in this first night, you're just going within, you're just reflecting, you're just looking or gazing. What's there? Is there something? Can I find something inside myself, my source? Can I find something of my strength or something of my strength back if you have lost it? But as within, so without, when I'm gazing into that flow of time, into that road that shows already what's going to happen at the T crossing, you are just going into the inner world ahead of you, not the inner world inside you, but the inner world outside of you, there in the forest. Because after or behind everything that outwardly manifests, be it our own body, be it a forest or the planets or a beautiful ocean, there is always something behind, a deeper dimension that most people don't see, feel, or hear. But with this tradition of the Knights of Lot, you can look into it and find out what is my lot in the coming year. That was the pre-information. Now let's go into medias res. Let's go into the main topic. And that's the first night is the night of reflection, going within, finding your inner strength or finding your inner strength again. And in the Christian tradition, this has been dedicated to a saint named St.Catherine of Alexandria. Here you see a painting by Michelangelo Caravaggio. And you see her there already with the wheel. The wheel is a very important symbol of St. Catherine. But let us make a bigger observation of the field of holy women or wise women before we go into the oil rituals that I recommend to you in connection with going within, finding your inner truth, finding your inner strength. I recommend two oils, and I will show you also how to use them. And then finally, I will also tell you a little bit more of the story of this remarkable young woman, because there is many, many hints there. So we are looking at three women that are called the three holy maidens: Catherine of Alexandria, Margareta of Antiochia, and Barbara of Nicomedia. And you see them here in the foreground in this picture. I hope you can see them. If you don't see them, please shoot me a text message, a chat message, that is. Now, well, I'll make the picture bigger and myself smaller so you see them better. So these in the foreground are St. Catherine in the middle, to the left, St. Margaret, and to the right, Lucia. Lucia, St. Lucia. Although I'm not sure if not on the left at St. Lucia, I will have to look deeper. Maybe you also figure out, could be that Lucia is the one in the violet, in the purple color, and Margareta is the one in the red color. Now here we have St. Catherine in the green, and she is together with the other two a trinity. But they are part of altogether 14 women, and you see this assembly behind them, the 14 holy helpers, as they are called. The 14 holy helpers, as they are called. And this refers to a truth that women can save, that women can protect, that women can nourish, that women can help. And they have done so. Wise women have done so throughout thousands of years of human histories in various different traditions. So, in our series of the Six Holy Nights, you will encounter St. Catherine today and this night, Margareta of Antiochia on the 3rd to 4th, and Barbara of Nicomedia on 12th to 13th of December. But these three wise women appear in various forms, in various traditions, and actually they are too numerous to speak about all of them. But you have, for example, the three holy virgins. They are Fides, faith, Spes, hope, and Caritas, love. By the way, caritas, from the word caritas comes the modern word care. Self-care is basically self-love. And we talk in our day and time about me time, that you finally take time for yourself, do self-care, care for yourself. And that's really to love yourself also, because otherwise you go astray and you'll have a breakdown. So caritas, the love that cares, spes, the hope, and fides, the faith. They are the three daughters of Sophia, and Sophia is the mother of wisdom. These are archetypical pictures, like Sophia as a goddess, and you can go all the way to ancient Greece and even further to ancient Egypt, and of course to India, Vedic India, where you find such mother goddesses. Now, this wisdom mother, she has three daughters, and one daughter of wisdom is faith, and the second daughter of wisdom is hope, and the third daughter of wisdom is love. We have also the three Marys. The veneration of initially two and later three Marys originated in the 13th to 14th centuries in the Provence in south of France, in Saint-Maximin la Sainte-Baume, near the big mystical mountain La Sainte-Baume that even druids, southern druids, were inhabiting. And these Marys came actually from the seas, from Sainte Marie de la Mer, which is on the Rhone Delta, where the Rhone flows into the Mediterranean, and where Mary Magdalene, Sarah, the sister of Mary Magdalene, Martha, the brother of Mary Magdalene, Lazarus or Lazar, Mary Jacob, Mary Salome, Sidonius, Saint Sidonius, Saint Maximus, and a few others came on land. They were not tolerated anymore by Saint Peter and the apostles because they were more like a men's club as soon as Jesus Christ was gone. So they had to flee from the Holy Land, from Palestine or Israel, or however you call that historical land, and they sailed all the way to southern France and came on land at Saint-Marie de la Mer. And from there, they spread the wisdom, because after all, what many people don't really think about is, where did Jesus Christ have all these essential oils from? Because Jesus and the Marys and the apostles, they were traveling throughout the Holy Land, stopping in this village, stopping in that city, and they were helping the wounded and the poor and the dying and the blind. And they used essential oils all the time. There's 18 different essential oils being mentioned in the New Testament alone, 18 different oils. And we speak about some of them in this series. Now, if you know the price of true essential oils, I'm not speaking about synthetic essential oils, but real qualitative essential oils, then how did Jesus have the funds, or how did they get? Because after all, the apostles that followed Jesus, they were just taken away from their day job by Jesus. Jesus came and said, "Come and follow me. If you love the Father, then come and follow me." They had to give up their job and travel with Jesus. So how did the oils come into the picture? Well, some of the Marys were wives of rich men, and they donated these oils. And with these oils, a lot of good was done. So these are the three Marys. And now you will ask, okay, who are the three Marys? Exactly those who traveled with Mary Magdalene. The second one is Mary Salome, or Mary Salome. And the third one is Mary Jacobus, or Mary Jacobi. And from the south of France, a lot of wisdom spread throughout Europe. And it's still there. There's a Benedictine monastery I visited at the mountain La Sainte-Baume, and I spoke to a monk there, a Benedictine monk, about why they spoke so freely of Mary Magdalene and all these mysteries surrounding her, and surrounding her escape from the Holy Land together with the others to southern France. And I said, is it not like, is the Vatican in accordance with that, in agreement with that? And he smiled at me and he said, Rome is far away from southern France. Rome is far away from southern France. Now, historical detail, there was even an opposed pope in Avignon, southern France, for quite a time. There was one pope in Rome and another pope in Avignon. So these southern French people, they had it sometimes with the Holy Church in Rome, and they put up their own thing because they maybe knew some things that the Roman Church didn't know or didn't want to know. But that's up to the observer. I leave that up to you. It's just, I try to provoke some ideas, some thoughts that you think about history, not in a passive way, but in an active way. Look at it. What could it mean? Why were there two popes for quite a while, one in Avignon and one in Rome? But we do not only have the three maidens or the three holy virgins or the three Marys, we also have the Norns. The Norns, they come from Norse mythology, and that comes from Nornir in Old Norse, are female beings that determine fate, some of whom are said to be descended from gods, others from dwarfs and others from elves. Within Indo European religions and mythologies, they are related to the Roman Parse and the Greek Mors or Moires. So maybe you get a little shuddering feeling like the Moires or the Parsen in Rome, or the Norns, because these are ancient names we don't think about nowadays a lot, but these are traditions of holy women that appear in all the spiritual traditions. We could think of the Dakinis of Buddhism, particularly Mahayana Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism. We could think of the female goddesses, primarily Durga, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Kali, which is also a triangle because Durga is like Sophia. She's like the primal manifestation of the divine feminine. And then out of Durga manifests Saraswati, who is, by the way, quite parallel to Catherine because Catherine has similar qualities like Saraswati. She has to do with learning and with words and with speaking and with convincing people, like Saraswati does. Then we have Lakshmi, and then we have Kali, like we have Catherine, Margaret, and Barbara. So I hope I gave you some impulses, some inspirations for your own research. Now let us look into the practical side of it. Let us not dwell forever on the historical side. Also, it's quite interesting because you learn a lot that's like worldwide. If we go into Asia and we find these dakinis all the way to Cambodia and to Laos, and of course in Thailand. Now, what do they mean? And what do the goddesses mean in India? As here we have the European ancient tradition. Now, let's talk about sacred frankincense for that particular night of St. Catherine, who has to do with, and you will find out when you hear her life story. I will still tell you some excerpts of her life story. It's really about finding yourself, finding your own truth. And for finding yourself, finding your own truth, there are no better oils than sacred frankincense. I hope it shows correctly in the picture. I see it mirror wise. And cistus, or rose of Sharon. So sacred sandalwood, excuse me, sacred frankincense, of course. There's also sacred sandalwood, but that's in another place and space. And cistus, the rose of Sharon. They have to do with our divine reality. They have to do with our inner truth. And cistus can be a way to come back to live your truth if you have been alienated too much from yourself, from your own inner reality, or from your own inner truth, as Catherine was. And sacred frankincense is the way back to the divine. Especially sacred frankincense from Oman, Boswellia sacra, connects you really to the source, to the spheres of light. Now let's go into the practice with these oils. First, sacred frankincense. You open the bottle and you first smell it. If you have the bottle, that is sacred frankincense from Oman. And if you're a beginner, breathe from the bottle. And I'm using Young Living essential oils here, Young Living essential oils. They are like the father of the modern oil companies, of all of them. They still have the biggest selection of oils, and they have their own farms, which rarely companies do have. Other companies, usually they just buy on the world market. So, sacred frankincense, if you're a beginner, inhale for 1 to 3 minutes and just feel what happens in your nose, in your forehead, in your head, what happens in your breathing vessels, what happens down into your lungs, how does it feel, what happens in your emotions when you're breathing sacred frankincense, and what happens in your heart, in your mystical heart, in your spiritual heart, and what happens in your thoughts. Which thoughts come up? Which thoughts become silent? And you're really absorbing the sacred frankincense, the vibration, the energy, the consciousness, not just the ether particles, the quintessence that this oil represents. Now, if you are advanced aromatherapy user or aroma practitioner, that is, do it for 3 to 5 minutes and really think about what is my truth, what is my true reality. This is about reflecting the first night of Lot, about going within, about feeling your true reality, your truth, and about finding strength. By finding your truth, you find the strength. Now, sandalwood, not only aromatically by breathing, and again, I say sandalwood, excuse me, sacred frankincense, that is, different plant, although both have a very high vibration. So you take a drop or two out of the bottle of sacred frankincense. I still have here an old bottle. Actually, the older the oils, the better. It's like with wine. These are the more modern labels, but here the original labels. And you activate and you apply clockwise on your forehead, on your heart center, heart chakra, on your forward fontanelle, and on your backward fontanelle. And actually, I'll look it up because I know the terminology in German, but that's not necessarily the same words in English. So let me look it up. Fontanella. That's where, with the baby, there is a soft spot in the skull bone. Yeah, it's the same word, fontanelle or fontanella. That's how Americans pronounce it. And you have a forward fontanelle that's approximately here, and you have a backward fontanelle that's approximately here. So anterior here and posterior here. You not only have two fontanelles, one here and one here. You have on the left side and of the right side of the backside fontanelle. You have two openings, two subtle nerves. On the left side, that is to the to the Ida, the moon nerve, and on the right side, that is to Pingala, to the sun nerve. And now, if you have that oil, you can apply it, take out 1 or 2 drops, and activate with your fingers. With these 2 fingers, this is the gesture of the ancient oint maker. And you have applied already on your third eye and your heart chakra, but now you apply on your forward fontanelle, backward fontanelle, and you get the feeling where it actually is. Sometimes you don't hit the spot, the sweet spot, but then after a while you will feel where it is. It's actually here and here. And then your Ida, your sun nerve on the right side, and your Pingala, your moon nerve on the left side. By the way, they are connected with the right nostril and the left nostril. And that's another big story. Why do we have two nostrils? What is the different function energetically of the two nostrils? And how is it connected with here and here? Where actually many people have whorls in their hair. And it's also quite significant. Do you have a whorl in your hair only on the left side on the Ida or only on the right side on the Pingala? So moon, sun. Or do you have whorls of hair on both sides, on the Ida and on the Pingala? Just giving you some ideas how many secrets there are that many people don't know about. So the next thing is, of course, your neck. And the neck is very important because many things might attack you in the neck or sit in your neck. And so you're also applying frankincense. And really, frankincense is a great protector also from negative energies. You apply it in the neck as well. So you have applied now the sacred frankincense on your heart, on your third eye, your spiritual eye, your forward fontanelle, backward fontanelle, on your Ida, moon nerve on the left side, or yin, you could say, on your Pingala, sun nerve on the right side, yang, you could call it, and then on your neck chakra. And now you feel it, and you can inhale either from your hands or continue inhaling from the bottle. And now it's just about really diving inside your own silence. What is my truth? What is my origin? What is my source? What is my true inner reality? So you dive deep within. You have activated these portals of consciousness or gateways of consciousness, the heart, the third eye, the crown in front, the crown a little further back, the opening of the Ida and the Pingala and the neck. Sacred frankincense is regarded as one of the rarest, most sought after aromatics in existence. The resin used to obtain young livings, sacred frankincense, is in fact the first Omani frankincense to be available to those outside of the Saudi royal family. Saudi royal family. Sacred frankincense or Boswellia sacra is believed to be the frankincense documented during ancient times. Historically, it is believed that this beautiful white hojari resin, or actually the purer it is, the more it becomes totally transparent. This is also quite interesting when you see frankincense crumbs. It's like a resin that is dried and that can become water distilled and become an oil. But this these crumbs of resin, they can be brownish or yellowish or reddish or kind of gold, amber colored. And you might say, oh, all the wonders of frankincense. Now, which is the best? The best is actually the colorless, totally transparent. And the second best is the white ojari, because these have the least additional parts of the bark of the frankincense tree, which colors the lesser varieties of frankincense, which is also the reason why the oil is totally transparent. So it's called hojari in Oman. And this is the frankincense that was taken by the three wise men to the Christ child. Sacred frankincense has a grounding, woodsy aroma that can be used to enhance your spiritual prayer, your spiritual meditation, but also yoga practices. And topically, if you apply it on the skin, it promotes the appearance of healthy looking skin while reducing the appearance of uneven skin tones. In fact, frankincense, and particularly sacred frankincense, is one of the most powerful essential oils for the skin. Now, how do you feel? You feel something inside yourself? in these centers of consciousness, in your breath, in your whole body. Like this, you go out, or you maybe have been already outside in the forest, maybe even in this first night, you will still go. And why I'm preparing you like this is you have to be first inside yourself before you can be outside of yourself. That means inside that forest, which is not really a forest, it's basically a magic forest if you stand at the T crossing and watch that flow of time and listen. And in the beginning, you will say, well, why should I even do it? This crazy guy on social media live streams is telling me to go to a T crossing on the forest. I would be crazy to do that. Well, feel into it and make up your mind. And you might be in for a big surprise. Maybe you won't do it in the first night, but on one of the following nights, probably sooner or later, you're going to do it and you're going to love it. Now, the second oil that I recommend for connecting with your inner truth, with your inner reality, for going within, which is the theme of the first night of Lot, is cistus. Cistus is believed to be the biblical rose of Sharon. Considered a spiritual oil, it can be used to support self-awareness and reflection while meditating. So again, exactly the themes of this first night: reflection and becoming self-aware, becoming aware of your inner truth and your inner strength. Cistus is commonly referred to as labdanum, or rose of Sharon, or gum rock rose. It is considered a spiritual oil and has been used for centuries during prayer and meditation as an aromatic enhancement to help draw your energy within and open pathways of understanding for you to find your truth. Now, there's one thing I didn't tell you about sacred frankincense. It's an enhancer of the power of your prayers. Frankincense is the enabler for prayers to be answered positively. Frankincense is the enabler for wishes to become true. So this is the one thing when you go inside and you feel there is some questions or some prayers or some wishes in you that are strong, then really focus for a longer time with sacred frankincense. But once all your prayers are formulated, all your wishes have come to the fore, then it's time to go even deeper to feel the truth deep inside your heart. And for that, again, you take a drop or two. In this case, from cistus, you activate it, 1, 2, 3, clockwise, and apply it on your heart chakra in the center of the chest, as well as on the crown chakra. And here, I mean the crown further back, the Sahasrara chakra, not the forward fontanelle, but the one backward. And here we have a lotus flower, 12 petal chakra has 12 petals. The Sahasrara chakra has 12 petals in the center. Around that, of course, in case of the crown chakra, are 1,000 petals, representing all, and it's a symbolical number, of course, but they represent all facets of consciousness, this 1,000-petaled lotus. But now interests us why, when the heart here has 12 lotus petals, why would there be an inner ring in your crown chakra that is like an exact replica, exact double or copy of your heart chakra? The reason is the inner ring of the crown chakra is for connecting with God's love, with divine love, and it goes upwards. The heart chakra in the center of our chest is for connecting inward to our own innermost love, to our soul, as well as to connect outward to other hearts, to feel love, be in love, exchange love with others. So basically, it's like a triangle: love God, love yourself, and love others. And also, love is one of the surest ways to find the truth of something, because not everyone can bear love. Love is so pure, love is so strong that some people, when you look at them with loving eyes and they have some bad thoughts, they will look away. They cannot look at the pure eyes of someone loving. However, when you find someone, and often that is children who can bear that look of love, that gaze of love, then you know this is a pure soul. This is a person that has a pure heart. This is a person who knows something of their inner truth, because when you look with love, you're basically uncovering the truth of another person. So after you have applied cistus on the heart and on the crown chakra, then you're just breathing it again. If you're a beginner, 1 to 3 minutes, concentrated breathing from the bottle of cistus. If you are more advanced in your aroma practice, then 3 to 5 minutes inhalation from the cistus bottle. What do you feel? What thoughts come up? What perceptions do you have? Where in the body do you feel the oil? It could be even in the knee or in your little toe or in your elbow. And then usually when you feel a certain resonance or a reaction in a body part, the body tells you, please apply that oil on that spot. It's truly so. Your body shows you with resonance or reaction, I would like to have the oil on that spot. And if you follow suit, you will see, wow, it's true. There's something behind it. It's working. Well, I'm sorry I kept the page small all the time. Here you see another picture of St. Catherine in her red dress. So probably I was even mistaken before. Let's go back to the picture. She's the one in red. She's not the one in green. She is the one in red. When remember we had this picture. Yeah, no, I was right. She is red, but she has also green. Whereas Margareta has white and red around it. And Lucia has the purple, but also the blue. So in the middle, you have St. Catherine. Now, let's have a look at St. Catherine. I give you the big picture of hers again. Here she's in another dress. And that is when she's already in prison. And before even further things happen, which I'm going to tell you now, because it's really an interesting story. And this is, of course, a famous painting. And mind you, there is this wheel. Now, what's this wheel about? So, Catherine of Alexandria was, according to tradition, a Christian saint and a virgin who was martyred in the early 4th century at the hands of the emperor Maxentius. According to her hagiography, she was both a princess and a noted scholar. Here comes the connection with Saraswati from the Indian world. She is the wisdom goddess. A noted scholar who became a Christian around age 14. And she converted hundreds of people to Christianity, but the emperor Maxentius didn't like that. And she was finally martyred around the age of 18. The Eastern Orthodox Church venerates her as a great martyr and celebrates her feast day on 24th or 25th of November. Well, that's what the internet says. In fact, it's particularly the night from the 24th to 25th of November. And how do you count the days of Lot? Actually, they go from sunset on the 24th till sunset on the 25th. That's the exact period of a night of Lot, from the sunset of the first day till the sunset of the second day. And that's similar actually with the Holy Nights, but we come to that later because Holy Nights, the preparation for Holy Nights starts on December 21st. In Catholic Christianity, Catherine is traditionally revered as one of the 14 holy helpers. I spoke about that also. We saw that picture of her in this circle of these 14 women. So again, my presentation is not reacting. So again, here we are. The three, the three holy virgins, the three holy maidens, the three Marys, and here they are: Catherine of Alexandria in the middle, Margaret of Antiochia on the right side, and Barbara of Nicomedia on the left side, and behind them the other 11 holy helpers. Now, why am I even telling you the story? You will find out there is quite some interesting details in this story. According to the traditional narrative, Catherine was the daughter of Sabinella and Contus, or Costus, actually I know him as Costus, the governor of Alexandria during the reign of the Emperor Maximian, not Maxentius, which is quite interesting because Maxentius was an earlier Roman emperor and Maximian was a later. So there is, it's not totally sure when she lived exactly, early 4th century after Christ or later 4th century. So they were governors, her father Costus and her mother Sabinella, of Alexandria in Egypt during the reign of Emperor Maximian. She was a Greco-Egyptian. From a young age, she devoted herself to study. A vision of the Virgin Mary and the child Jesus persuaded her to become a Christian. When the persecutors began under the Emperor Maxentius, she went to the emperor and rebuked him for his cruelty. So she must have been, because this whole story is between her being 14 to between her being 18. So just a span of 4 short years. And it seems that even exactly in these 4 years, the change from Maximian to Maxentus happened. So she went to the emperor. Imagine, she was like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and rebuked him for his cruelty. The emperor summoned 50 of the best pagan philosophers and orators to dispute with her. So not Christian philosophers, but pagan philosophers, hoping that they would refute her pro-Christian arguments because she was already converted to Christianity. But Catherine won the debate with each of the 50. Several of her adversaries, conquered by her eloquence against the tongue and Mother Saraswati on the Indian side, declared themselves Christians and were at once put to death by the emperor. The emperor gave orders to subject Catherine to terrible tortures and then throw her in prison. Her legend tells that during the confinement, she was fed daily by a dove from heaven, and Christ also visited her, encouraging her to fight bravely and promised her the crown of everlasting glory. Angels tended to her wounds with salve, with ointment. During her imprisonment, more than 200 people came to see her, including Maxentius' wife, Valeria Maximilla. All converted to Christianity, even the wife of Maxentius, and were subsequently martyred. Upon the failure of Maxentius to make Catherine yield by way of torture, he tried to win her over by proposing marriage. Well, of course, he had killed his wife. Now he offers marriage to the Saint Catherine. Catherine refused, declaring that her spouse was Jesus Christ, to whom she had consecrated her virginity. The furious emperor condemned Catherine to death on a spiked breaking wheel. Now, there you have it. That's the meaning of the wheel. But at her touch, the wheel shattered. This is also why you see in the picture it's not in a good state, the wheel. So it couldn't be used to kill her. Maxentius ordered her to be beheaded. Catherine herself ordered the execution to commence. Can you imagine that? As per her legend, a milk like substance rather than blood flowed from her neck. Now we come to another interesting part in the story. This is in the 6th century. The Eastern Emperor Justinian had established what is now St. Catherine's Monastery in Egypt, actually on the peninsula Sinai, where at the moment it's hard to access it because of various activities, military activities. But St. Catherine's Monastery on Sinai is something very special. It had been originally built encircling the purported burning bush seen by Moses on his way back to the Holy Land. You remember they came from Egypt, from the slavery in Egypt. Countless people make the pilgrimage to the monastery of St. Catherine to receive miracle healing from Catherine. And the interesting thing, there is a sarcophagus of St. Catherine there, and that sarcophagus still issues oil from St. Catherine. I forgot, is it from her feet or from her head? But there is a miraculous oil that brings healing. Now, it's really bad or sad that so few people can access St. Catherine's monastery, but it is quite interesting. Whenever opportunity opens up again, this is definitely a place I'm going to visit because it has a double historic importance. First, the burning bush of Moses, and second, the sarcophagus of St. Catherine and the oil that is emanating, and that is a miracle oil, a healing oil. Welcome to the tradition of anointing. Welcome to the tradition of oils, of essential oils. This is what Nights of Lot are about. This is in part what also the Holy Nights are about. So I thank you so much for going with me on the journey, and the journey continues after Winter Solstice with the Holy Nights. So after the 6 Nights of Lot, we have the Essential Holy Nights: design, create, and manifest your upcoming year using ancient secret rituals. I've been giving this online challenge, as it was originally called. It's morphed into something much bigger than just a challenge. But I'm giving this from 21st of December 2025 till 6th of January 2026. This is like after the Nights of Lot, these 26 days. This is the time, 16 days, where you're really formulating what is the new year going to be based on the inputs that you got during the Nights of Lot. And then I'm also going to give the Essential Holy Nights here from 7th of January 2026 till 20th of December 2026. That is monthly live meetings, usually up to 2 hours, where we are like refreshing what has happened during the Holy Nights. As you know, December 25th corresponds to the month of January. December 26th corresponds vibrationally to the month of February. December 27th corresponds energetically, vibrationally to the month of March, and so on. So it's basically what is starting now with these 6 nights of Lot becomes the 12 holy nights, becomes the 12 months of the coming year. You have even the link here. I have not updated the design yet. My excuses for it, but you can register and be part of it. And if you register, you'll be not just in one Holy Nights or Holy Nights plus Holy Nights here, you'll be in 3. I give you 3 years of participation for the price of 1 year. Why am I doing this, you might ask? For the simple reason that I know if people do it 3 times, it really becomes ingrained in them. It really helps them to realize all that this particular age-old practice is offering. And we are using up to 55 different essential oils and oil blends. Here is just a picture of some of them. And as you can see already, some of them are quite rare or special. They're all by Young Living essential oils. And I will give you, if you participate, I will give you basically a list of all the oils that you are going to use either during the Holy Nights or even the Holy Nights here. And in the Nights of Lot, we are using 2 essential oils on each night, so altogether 12 essential oils. Some of them are in the 55 essential oils and some of them are extra. So this is the link for registration. I put it in the description, so you can just click it or copy it in the description if you would like to enroll or register already now. It starts on 21st of December and goes then all the way till 6th of January with daily live streams. This is what the landing page where you can register looks like right now, or actually it's another picture because we have for the 3 years 3 pictures, but you will see it shortly updated to the green, red Northern Lights design that you have seen throughout this presentation. And then you know, okay, if it looks a little bit like this, actually I will probably put a video inside to make a short explanation, but you can read a lot of text also that explains everything that you're going to get and that's going to happen. But otherwise, it will be this design. And with that, I wish you actually an amazing night there. Try at least and see what happens. And if it's too cold outside, snow has just fallen in some parts, then do it from the inside, but do it. Do it in this night, because this is the night of reflection, going within, finding your inner truth, finding your inner strength. We see again on November 29th to November 30th, the night of love and connection that in Christianity has been ascribed to St.Andrew. And I wish you, well, tremendous experiences and see you in a few days.